Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Josh, joined as ever by the man who plays everything, Scott Tilford, for another news roundup, because it's been a busy week, Scott, but what have you got for me today?
What have I got for you, my friend?
Yes, personally.
I have quite a lot of things. Now, Ben Hansen from Game Informer sat down with the legend that is Ed Boon, Mortal Kombat's own Ed Boon. And there was a whole bunch. He did one of those 101 rapid-fire question type things, and there were 3 I could find juicy tidbits from this thing.
Come on, then.
So the biggest one is that was a brilliant bit where Mr. Hansen, because it's all rapid-fire style thing, randomly asks the man, hey, have you ever talked to Marvel about doing a fighting game? And Ed just went, yes. And he went, okay, what was it?
Tell me more.
And then immediately Ed Boon just goes, and so he says, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But at one point he did have a conversation with someone from Marvel about doing a fighting game, and then they follow that up by saying, well, what would you do if you were going to do it?
Yes.
And his idea for it would be a Marvel versus DC thing. So what do we think of that?
Oh, I need it in my life. They've done so well by like DC, like the Injustice series is so good, and they nail that kind of like the spectacle of superhero fights on a 2D plane, which is, it seems like ridiculous and sort of like incongruous. Like how do you get these sort of massive city-wide fights into a space which is just like this big? But they nail it, and they nail like the weight of it and the gravity of it. So to see that done with characters that resonate with me more than DC's, because I mean I like DC, but I'm not a huge DC fan. I'm a Marvel guy. So to see that crossover happen seems too good to be true.
Did you play MK vs DC?
Yes, I did. I really liked it.
Right,
I thought it was really good.
Obviously, like Warner Brothers didn't really want, they just didn't let the DC characters have like crazy fatalities and blood and stuff. And it's like NetherRealm would have to go even more away from, I don't know, because in Injustice, it's like they're still brutal and over the top and really fun. But I'd love to see what they would do with like the mix of Marvel and DC. Like keep it like NetherRealm signature fatalities and finishes, but keep it family friendly, I guess.
Well, they
want it to be the biggest media property ever.
Yeah, because I mean, Injustice itself, although it's not Mortal Kombat levels of brutality and violence, it's still pretty dark. It's like it delves into sort of like the grittiness of like the DC characters and worlds, and like they absolutely tear each other apart. But with Marvel, you'd assume it would be more colourful and bigger and bolder, which I think would work. To be honest, right, if Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe turned out okay,
it was fine.
Has to be amazing.
I mean, maybe. So at this stage, it's literally just him saying at one point that was being discussed, and that he would like to do Marvel versus DC. There was nothing more than that, but the idea was really cool.
Yeah, do you think it's like viable? Because I mean, Marvel are opening up quite a lot recently and letting other developers handle their characters. I mean, this would be great, but we know when they did Marvel versus Capcom, like the last one, Marvel were very sort of specific about who they wanted to appear and stuff, and had a lot of not demands, but like they kind of shaped the roster of that game.
Yeah, true. I mean, you've got stuff like the Iron Man VR and like the whole Avengers project, which we still haven't seen yet. So it's like, they are sort of finally going like, hey, we can like bring these characters into the gaming. Obviously, Spidey was like brilliant,
huge.
So I think there's a potential for it. I would love to see their go at it. I don't think that they would sign off. But in the current climate of Marvel vs DC in Hollywood, I don't think you would see Marvel vs DC in a game. But
I know what you mean. Yeah,
maybe. They have crossed over in the comics. People don't like tend to talk about that stuff that much, but there are Marvel vs DC stuff in the comics before. Something else from this, which was just a little tidbit, was this might have been revealed before, but he described the origin of Get Over Here, which is the original
I actually don't know this.
So he said that originally, because he's the voice of Get Over Here from the original Mortal Kombat, and Ed Boon worked on, I forget the exact name of the game, but it was a sports game where he was just like this guy had to do the voices of like shouty commentators type guys.
Nice.
And when they started making Mortal Kombat, the team was so small that they obviously needed a voice actor or something to be Scorpion's voice, and he just came in and just like that was all he knew in terms of like what he did. So he's like, he just shouted Get Over Here, and they put it in. So like that's kind of cool. Like,
I love that stuff. It's kind of like when Remedy were making Mad Max, and they just got the game designer's face to like and put that. That was just Sam Lake was just Mad Max now. You never see that anymore, and I kind of miss it in a way.
So the final thing that came from, like, I mean, the whole thing's brilliant, but the final thing that I picked out from that is that there was also at one point a conversation to include Neo from The Matrix in Injustice. Because I guess, as far as I know, Warner Brothers are behind The Matrix.
Yes.
They would have the deals or whatever it would need. Apparently the deal fell through, but at one point they were talking about including Neo in The Matrix. Maybe his time-bending powers make it, or like time slowed down stuff makes it hard.
I wish I liked fighting games more, because I'm kind of with you.
They're really
good. This before, and they are really good, and I love NetherRealm stuff. I just wish I was good at them, because I love buying them and getting my ass kicked. But I want this to happen. I want DC
Neo
versus Marvel.
Batman.
I want it.
I kind of want that as well. I think, because, I mean, it's not to say that it couldn't happen in the future. There's some weird rumblings around the existence of more Matrix movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what the hell they're doing with the IP right now.
Yeah.
But if Warner Brothers are in charge of the whole thing, then bringing Neo... I mean, Neo was in Broforce, which is a cool little indie side-scrolling thing, where he used to block bullets and all that kind of stuff. So it's like his power set is actually more identifiable than people think.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
He's flying, he's stopping bullets and all that kind of type
Do you think, I mean, this is a complete tangent, but do you think they'll ever, like, sort of create another franchise based off those WB characters? Because we've seen so many other people, like, guest star in these games. Like, surely there's something I don't know, something they can do with this well of great characters to make another fight game.
I mean, the last time they tried to do something like that was with that Dark Universe thing, or was that someone else?
That was someone else.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I imagined.
That was Universal, like. Yeah, it was Universal. Well,
either way.
What else you got for me anyway?
What else have I got for you? I have Alan Wake 2. Do you want Alan Wake 2?
I really do.
Well, you're not getting it, because at one point it was in development, but they canned it. Thomas Pure was talking to VG247 and said that they did have a sequel. They own the IP and they were going forward with it at a time, but it just didn't work out.
Next time you do this, bring a knife and I'll just sort of show you my heart and you can just tag it straight in if you want.
I tend to think of doing that most when we work together anyway. But so I mean, I don't know. For me, Alan Wake, I kind of thought was fine. Everyone I've talked to loved it a lot more than me.
I loved it. It sort of in spite of itself.
Why did you love it?
Because like the core gameplay was sort of like rote and repetitive, but I thought it was very punchy and satisfying. But it was the world around it, like the idea that it was a TV show inspired by Stephen King, who I know you don't like, and Twin.
No, I like it now. I didn't realize how much Stephen King had done.
Yeah,
I was just going off all evil clowns and a dog with rabies, and then I was like, oh, he actually did Shawshank. And I'm like, I love Shawshank, so no, he's good.
But there we go. But Alan Wake sort of like, meshes those influences with a kind of like Twin Peaks and like a really weird horror vibe. And it was kind of like, I don't know, it was unique in a time where horror games were becoming very either non-existent or quite predictable and boring. And I don't know, I just really like Remedy and what they do. Like, they're really good, and I'm really excited for Control.
I do, yes. Like the two people on Earth who really love Control, other than Remedy themselves. Go check that game out. It looks incredibly polished, and it just seems like it's the next, I don't know, step forward. It's close to something like PsyOps or Second Sight, which, again, probably existed before some of the audience were even alive. But go check those games out. Telekinetic powers are fun, and it seems like that's what Control is. But yeah, at one point they were moving forward with more Alan Wake, and then they said that they had their schedule was full for the next 2 years, so they had to ditch it. So they might go back to it after something like Control, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Remedy's in a weird place, I think, considering where they used to be with Max Payne.
That's it. It's like a shame, and I don't think they'll ever get to do it. And I hope they just kind of like, it's this shame. I want them to stop talking about it because I keep getting my hopes up every single time they mention it, and it's just never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Do you want another news thing?
Always.
Do you know who hates Fortnite?
Except everyone in this office.
Well, yeah, but also the Royals. Well, one of the Royals.
Which Royal?
Prince Harry. I didn't know his name. I actually know so little about the Royals, but Mr. Prince Harry, whatever he's called, Mr. Harry, he was doing a whole thing where he was visiting some place and he was asked for, I don't even know how he got onto it really, but I have his quote. Somehow they were talking about Fortnite, and I'll read this to you. He said, Fortnite shouldn't be allowed. It's created to addict. An addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. Parents have got their hands up. They don't know what to do about it. It's like waiting for the damage to be done. Just like methamphetamines, I imagine.
Is that actual question?
All above from the methamphetamines,
right?
That was entirely it. But the whole bit after that was me adding a little bit of flavour.
Brilliant.
But man absolutely hates the Fortnite.
But like, I kind of, the frustrating thing about these sort of arguments is I can kind of see where he's coming from, right? When you sit like a kid down and like they become addicted to this very colourful thing where they keep getting rewards, and like the incentive is obviously, to enjoy the game, but also to pump as much money into possible.
Yeah,
with like the microtransaction stuff. So I can see where he's coming from, but it's delivered in such a old man out of touch yells at cloud way that it's hard to take seriously.
The thing that infuriates me with all these discussions is that gaming is so far past being the go-to scapegoat. It was in the 90s, it was Mortal Kombat. It was, oh my god, what are these games doing to our youth? And in the 2000s, it was GTA. Oh my god, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Parents, take control of your children for the love of God. Like, you're supposed to be the go-to influencer. It's not like if you're losing control of your child to the screen, you fail as a parent.
Listen, this is the exact same thing everyone said like when I was growing up about Pokemon cards, not even Pokemon games. There was such a crazy sort of backlash to that, and everyone was so scared Pokemon was going to warp our minds, but we've turned out all right. Rich has turned out all right.
I mean, I've got like 5 copies of Pokemon Yellow, but it's really good. So yeah, there is that. But so that was one thing, was that Prince Harry. I mean, it is obviously worth addressing video game addiction.
Yes.
That's kind of gone back and forward into the ideas that the various systems like loot boxes and the way that we play games, how addictive different gameplay loops can be. All that stuff is so worthwhile, but I think to completely sidestep the role of the parents is the thing that always happens for the sake of scapegoats and headlines, and that infuriates me no end.
I'm kind of with you there.
It's not the best. So another thing which is hilarious is you know Mr. Mike Tyson.
I know of him.
Big Mr. Mikey Tyson.
Is that what his nickname is?
It is now. He was on the old Twitter and he got very annoyed that apparently Nintendo's making a new Punch-Out without him. Now I do have his quote as well. He said he heard Nintendo was doing a new Punch-Out without even contacting me, which is him. He said it won't be the same. His knockouts made the game. That's whack. Now I don't want to annoy the man.
Yeah.
But it's been 30 years since he was in a Mike Tyson game, and there's been about 6 of them since he was in the last one.
Right. You need to explain this to me because I'm not.
There was even 4 of them before he did his one.
Surprisingly enough, I'm not the biggest Punch-Out fan, but all
be.
I know is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out because it's the one I played actually on this channel, if I recall. Yeah.
No, that was Super Punch-Out.
Oh, well, yeah. So there have been games since before him and after him that haven't featured him, and yet he's getting riled up now, 30 years after the fact.
A little bit. So the takeaway thing is obviously that a new Punch-Out is coming to Switch, which is really cool. I adore Punch-Out. It's kind of like Dark Souls PvP, like the origins of that sort of like pick and choose. Like if you like Sekiro, go play Punch-Out.
I just saw Rich do this behind the camera.
I can mention it every video. It's a worthwhile thing as a contemporary talking point. But Punch-Out existed before Mike Tyson. Obviously, he's right that his name put the game on the map.
Yes.
Like people checked out Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but for the most part, yes, there was like 3 or 4 of them before him. There's been 3 or 4 of them since him, and it's kind of hilarious that he's now like they're doing another one without me. And I'm like, have you looked at Wikipedia, Michael?
No, I don't think he has. What's Mike Tyson been up to recently?
I don't know. I don't want. I mean, he could get in touch with us. I don't know.
Listen, and please don't, Mike.
No,
I don't want to be hit.
I loved your work when you flattened men's faces, and please don't do that to us. But it is hilarious that there are more Punch-Out games. So yes, that is my news roundup for you for now.
Thank you. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. What are your opinions on a new Punch-Out? What do you think about Prince Harry, who is sadly he's like the best royal, and now he's doing this. You're the best one, Harry. Stop talking about Fortnite like this. What do you think about that news story? Are you looking forward to Mortal Kombat 11?
Marvel DC?
I don't know why I want this. Maybe. Marvel DC. And of course, what was the other one?
Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2, sadly, is never going to happen. This has been an absolute mess of a roundup and finishing off. But as always, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. And head over to WhatCulture.com for more listening news like this every single day. Even if you don't know, I've been Josh.
I've been Scott.
You've been watching WhatCulture Gaming, and we'll see you soon. Bye.